WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, July 27th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds this morning, thunderstorms this afternoon. Some could come with gusty winds and hail. The high today, 80. Tonight and overnight, we could see some heavy rain, low 70. And then Wednesday, showers in the morning, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 79. If you are walking out the door with us right now, 68 and cloudy in Orangetown up in Rockland. It's 66 and cloudy in Mahwah over in New Jersey. And it's 70 and partly cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
We could see some pretty intense weather today. A local funeral home makes a huge mistake. The 9/11 families tell the mayor to stay away, but he pushes back. A Long Island woman says she needs help getting rid of a stink in the neighborhood. And people in Fairlawn want the people in Patterson to be quiet. All right, let's get into it at 5:04. Maybe you were out and about yesterday afternoon into last night. Parts of New Jersey just got pummeled. Heavy rain, lightning, hail, triggered flash floods. At least 5 people had to be rescued in River Edge by firefighters after they got stuck in what was just a wall of water.
We had to walk through the floodwaters. We were able to extricate the people out of the cars over there.
Yeah, when you talk to those firefighters, they say they could not believe how fast Route 4 was underwater, at least portions of it anyway, and the calls came in big time for help.
That was it. It just came down real quick. I mean, personally, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, and Hawthorne, Goffel Road there turned into a river. Also, just so quickly that people could not get out of the way. In Ridgewood, first responders talking about lightning strike there that started a fire. There was hail, too. I saw that outside my house. Franklin Lakes, Edison, Jersey City last night.
It's just getting worse and worse every year, you know? It's just the weather's crazy.
Yeah. What is going on over here? I guess the storm drains are not working?
Yeah, so the storm impacted New Jersey Transit as well. Last night, the Pascack Valley line suspended for a few hours, both directions due to a downed tree across the tracks near the Westwood station. Oh, and now we're going to have a little bit more of this today. So a flood watch is in effect for the city, much of the tri-state, powerful storms poised to hit us, significant rainfall, potential for flash flooding. Again, a lot of this will likely be this afternoon, but the flood watch takes effect starting at 8 a.m. this morning. And almost everybody in the listening area is included. I mean, I could start naming the towns, but likely if you can hear me, you are under a flood watch. In general, we could see 1 to 3 inches of rain today. But here's the problem. Some areas could see 4 to 5. And if you get 4 to 5 inches of rain in a short period of time, then you get what you got in Bergen County last night, some flash flooding. Of course, we'll watch that all day long. 5:06 last night. There was a candlelight vigil in Queens to honor the life of Staff Sergeant Angel Rampersad. She was the woman killed in Jordan by an Iranian missile. The community in Ozone Park, they turned out in huge numbers last night to support her grieving family.
Considering the controversial conflict that we have over there and, you know, the parents' pain, me as a parent and grandparent, you could only feel that.
They need all the support we can give them in this time.
Yeah, just complete strangers showed up. I'm not surprised to hear that. And then people who knew the family well. Her pastor, he spoke out last night. He said he remembers watching her grow up in the community ever since the family had moved here from Trinidad.
She understood that protecting others, standing for freedom, and stepping into danger were not just an act of duty. It was her expression of love.
And Ozone Park expressing their gratitude a week after Angel and 3 other American service members were killed in that Iranian missile attack on their air base in Jordan. Here's the Queensboro President, Donovan Richards.
Angel Rampersad was not born in the United States of America, but Angel Rampersad was willing to die for the United States of America. That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, and when it was all over last night, her mother was able to muster a little bit to just thank the people who had come out over the last week to, get her through this or try to get her through this.
I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
And now Angel's family planning a final goodbye later this week. And local leaders are planning to ask the city to rename not just the intersection where she lived, but they want a stretch of the Cross Bay Boulevard in her school, PS 63. Maybe that should bear her name as well. Angel Sarah Rampersad, her rank staff sergeant, that was announced posthumously. She was posthumously promoted. All good ideas to rename those things after Angel. WABC News Time 510. Let's head up to the Bronx, the Mount Eden section where a vigil for a 12-year-old who was shot and killed continues to go. Jacob Freitas, known to loved ones as Kai, he was riding his bike to a bodega in Mount Eden right nearby. 4 men were in a fight. One of them pulled out a gun, started firing off, and one of those bullets hit Jacob as he was about to walk in, or actually had already walked into this bodega, walked back out with a ball that he wanted. He took a bullet to the chest. He then staggered back into the bodega where he passed away. Well, friends and family have been coming to, wish them well, to mourn with the family. His father was a retired police sergeant who had worked in the Bronx. Here were people outside the vigil where candles have been lit, flowers have been placed both outside the bodega and his home in Mount Eden.
There's nothing we can say or do that'll bring Jacob back. We are all heartbroken. Love your loved ones. Give your kids a hug today and every day.
Yeah, so police arrested 45-year-old William Ferrer over the weekend outside of his home. You won't be shocked to see he has a laundry list of prior crimes, which, of course, begs the question, what's he doing back out on the street? Ferrer was arraigned yesterday, Bronx Criminal Court, where a judge ordered him held without bail. His case is scheduled to return for a grand jury action on July 31st. Mayor Mamdani weighing in on this tragedy yesterday.
I am so appreciative of the work of our NYPD, and yet we also know that we can never say that enough has been done when we are seeing our children being killed on our streets.
Yeah, of course, just terrific. 5/11. Let's go out to Seattle, where it's a teenager, a 15-year-old boy detained following Sunday night's mass shooting that killed 3, injured 4 outside the Seattle Center right near the Space Needle. Mayor Katie Wilson says this teenager who was detained after the shooting, he was booked into juvenile detention for firearms violation.
We believe this teenager opened fire in the crowd, but details are still under investigation.
Now, the thought is that it was 2 teens firing at each other. One of the 3 people who were involved in this, they were shot dead, but there's a second gunman they're still looking for. 3 victims were a 19-year-old man. They think that's the other gunman, a 44-year-old man who both died at the scene, and a 56-year-old woman who died at the hospital a short time later. The Seattle mayor says her heart goes out to the families of the victims and everybody affected by the shooting that took place during a food festival on Sunday.
The terror and the trauma of gun violence reaches far beyond those who are struck by the bullets.
Any loss of life due to gun violence is unacceptable, as is the terror it causes our community.
Yeah, that's the Seattle police chief.
Our officers, as well as members from the fire department, medic team, ran toward gunfire in an attempt to render life-saving aid and to disarm someone who was actively firing a weapon into a crowd.
Yeah, so the thought is it had nothing to do with the crowd there, but a fight between these teenagers. Again, that third gunman has not been found. 5:13, Savannah Guthrie addressing her mother's kidnappers in a new video that she posted to Instagram yesterday. Her mom, Nancy, went missing from her home in Tucson on February 1st and is yet to be found.
We are in a nightmare that will not end. Nothing about our situation has changed.
Yeah, I can only imagine. The Today Show co-host making a plea to the kidnappers, urging them to turn themselves in or just turn over information, anything they may have.
It has been months since our mom was taken from us. Our family is in agony. We have done our part. We will never stop looking for her. We will always ache for her and feel that hole in our hearts. The world can be a cruel and unforgiving place, and I know that you have tried to do things the right way. So I'm asking you, begging you, to do the right thing now. make the right choice.
It is sort of amazing that they don't seem to be any closer to finding her, Nancy Guthrie, at all, or any details. Or at least they haven't told us a whole lot. More from Guthrie's Instagram post yesterday.
Help us find her. Tell us where to look for her. I truly believe it is never too late to do the right thing. Help us bring this situation to an end.
Now, the FBI joined in the search for Nancy, offering a $1 million reward for information leading to her recovery. Savannah Guthrie says her family's hurting. The Guthrie family also offering $1 million reward. Actually, it's the FBI. It's a $100,000 reward for any information that leads to her mother. In a moment, we'll head up to Massachusetts, where there's a sensational trial that just got underway yesterday. Gave you the latest details on that. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Laden. We'll start out here in Queens. Francisco Lindor homered twice and tripled off the top of the wall, driving in 6 runs as the Mets pulled away for a 14-3 victory over the Braves to grab the opener of a 3-game series against Atlanta. Marcus Semien hit a long 2-run homer that snapped a 3-all tie in the 6th inning. Tyrone Taylor extended his tear at the plate with a 3-run drive in the 7th, as the last-place Mets matched the season high with 19 hits. Lindor, Semien, Taylor, Bo Bichette, and rookie A.J. Ewing all had 3 hits as the Mets, minus injured slugger Juan Soto, scored double-digit runs for the 10th time this season. Rookie starter Zach Thornton allowed 3 runs and 6 hits in 6 1/3 innings. The left-hander struck out 5 and walked 1 in his 5th big league outing. Up next for the Mets, righty Christian Scott opposes Atlanta southpaw Chris Sale in tonight's middle game of this 3-game series at home. First pitch from Citi Field is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. In Chicago, Ali Sanchez hit a 3-run shot for his first career homer, and the Yankees beat the White Sox 9-5 in the opener of a 4-game series there. Ben Rice hit a tie-breaking single in the 7th, and New York put away the game with 4 more runs in the 8th. Jazz Chisholm Jr. had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and 2 steals for New York. Jason Dominguez also had 2 hits and scored twice. Yankees won for the 6th time in 8 games and pulled within 2.5 games of idle Tampa Bay for the AL East lead. Brent Hedrick pitched an inning and a third, scoreless for the win, and David Bednar got 1 out for his 21st save. Up next for the Yankees, Garrett Cole will get the start against Chicago lefty Anthony Kay in tonight's Game 2 of 4 against the White Sox. First pitch from Chicago is scheduled for 7:40 p.m.
It seems like that All-Star break really actually helped out the Yankees, no? They're playing good baseball since the All-Star break.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, listen, you beat up on the Phillies 2 out of 3 over the weekend. That's a good sign.
Big.
And the White Sox are a playoff contender as well. So you're playing good teams out of the break. I'd be inclined to agree with you there, Noam Laden, that they are playing well out of the All-Star break, and maybe it is just what they needed. Again, you're starting to see them produce some runs. 9 innings for 9 runs last night. A couple of more productive games in Philadelphia over the weekend, though they were low scoring. But again, the arms are going to be there in terms of the pitching. It's just a matter of this offense keeping up while you have Judge and Stanton out. So, we'll wait a couple more weeks until Judge comes back. But in the meantime, if you can keep winning ball games against good teams here, you can edging out these close games, and that's a good sign for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and training camp starts today for both the Jets and the Giants. Veterans reporting to both camps there. That is your Sports Noah, man. I'm Justin Ellick, 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:19 today. Day 2 in the trial of the Massachusetts mom accused of murdering her 3 children. Lindsay Clancy claims she was suffering from postpartum psychosis when she strangled her kids back in 2023. But in court yesterday, the prosecutor, Shannon Buckingham, told the jury not to buy that.
This was a woman who acted intentionally, rationally, and swiftly to accomplish a very specific goal: to kill.
Prosecution witness Patrick Clancy, that's Lindsay's ex-husband, he testified that Lindsay was having one of her best days on the day that she killed her 5-year-old, her 3-year-old, and her 8-month-old children. After killing her kids, Clancy, or allegedly I should say, Clancy cut her wrists and neck and jumped from a second story in a suicide attempt that has left her as a paraplegic.
She had no motive. She loved her children. She intended to kill herself.
Patrick Clancy will return to the stand today, where his ex-wife's mental health and medications will be discussed further. 5:20, a North Carolina family asking for the public's help as the search continues for Elizabeth Waddell,
a 44-year-old American who vanished on an island vacation. According to the Royal Grenada Police Force, the married North Carolina mother was last seen at Grand Anse Beach on Wednesday. Police specifically calling on fishermen, boaters, and people who live along the coast to be on the lookout.
Correspondent Jesse Kirsch there says Waddell had been sharing an Airbnb with a friend, and when she failed to return, that friend filed a missing person report. Waddell's husband, he traveled to the island in Grenada to assist with the search.
Amanda Romano Harmon is a family friend. She says Waddell and another friend were sharing an Airbnb, and when the friend did not see Waddell at their rental's pool, she went looking by the beach, but only found Waddell's towel.
Now, that friend, she remains hopeful that she'll be found, Waddell.
We want to leave no stone unturned. We just want to bring her home. I really still want there to be a happy ending to this. They've had divers out for several days. They can't find her.
Yeah, Waddell was on a 3-week vacation with a close friend, was staying at the Hideaway waterfront apartments when she went missing. 5:21, I've been watching some of the video of this destructive tornado that ripped through northeast Wisconsin yesterday. I mean, there's just whole homes that are gone, and I don't see that anybody was killed, which is amazing when you see that just houses were blown to pieces. Kathy Patton, who lives in Eagle River, says she and her husband were shocked to see all the damage right outside their home.
I had no idea it was this bad. We were in the house and the wind came up and we had absolutely no idea that these trees went down and there was this kind of damage.
You know how it is. It comes through quick. You walk out the door, and she was shocked by what she has seen. The tornado caused extensive damage, has left thousands without power, but there are no confirmations, at least this morning, of fatalities or even any serious injuries, which is incredible.
We're very, very fortunate in the sense that there's no harm done and nothing that affects us at all, really.
Yeah, so the same store system that caused the twister then pummeled parts of Illinois and Indiana late yesterday. 5:22 down to Washington, where funeral services for the late Senator Lindsey Graham going to take place today in D.C. and tomorrow in South Carolina.
The longtime South Carolina Republican will be honored with a ceremony at the U.S. Capitol, where his casket will arrive in the rotunda as lawmakers and dignitaries gather to remember his decades of public service, including his time in the Air Force and more than 20 years in the Senate. The funeral service will follow at Washington National Cathedral. Among those expected to attend are President Trump, Ukrainian President Zelensky, and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Stacey Lynn, Worldwide News Network, Washington.
President Trump, he was in the Detroit area yesterday, renewing his push to bolster the American auto industry in a campaign-style speech. This was at the GM plant in Milford. The president says he's done more for auto workers than any other president.
We're building more auto factories and more plants than at any time in the history of our country. And someday the fake news is going to be writing stories about it. They don't like to write those stories. That's why they call them the fake news.
The president says his tariffs targeting foreign autos have boosted domestic production.
You've changed the world, and maybe more importantly, you have made a comeback like very few companies. You are doing really well, and Mary and your whole group have done a fantastic job. If you build in a factory in Michigan or someplace in our country and make your automobiles or trucks right here in America, you pay zero tax and zero tariff. You pay zero.
Now, while the president was on his way to Michigan yesterday aboard Air Force One, he talked about an interest rate cut. He's really pushing the Federal Reserve to make one.
We should have the lowest interest rate in the world.
The president telling reporters that the new head of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Warsh, is doing a fantastic job, but he says the Reserve Board is very political and some members may have bad intentions.
Well, they have a board, and Kevin's fantastic, but he's got a board, and the board members are very political. He wants to do the right thing. I know what he wants to do. But you need the consent of some people that have perhaps bad intentions.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve will announce its next rate decision tomorrow. 5:25, the U.S. and Iran have paused their attacks now for a third straight day amid calls for more negotiations. Correspondent Hannah Brandt has more.
The president did express some optimism about where those negotiations stand. He said he thinks they're going well, but he also at the same time denied the reports of a shortage of critical U.S. missile interceptors. Axios had said that was part of what attributed to this break in strikes because, of course, that leaves American forces more vulnerable when trying to defend against Iranian counterattacks.
And the president yesterday rejecting a suggestion that his patience with negotiations could be wearing thin. He says Washington is having very friendly talks, those are his words, with Tehran, but suggests he's not prepared for prolonged negotiations. He wants to work out quickly. And then Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu will meet with President Trump this morning to talk about the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran, and that's going to, of course, top his agenda before they go to Lindsey Graham's funeral a little bit later today. 5:26, Nightscope, a robotics company in Sunnyvale, California, says their new security robots and AI will make America the most secure in the nation. News Nation's Nancy Liu has more.
Part of the new force is the Nightscope K7 unit. It can autonomously and continuously secure perimeters of large environments like corporate campuses, farms, or even the border. The K7 can recharge itself and run every hour of every day. Nightscope aims to have 1 million units across the country, eventually running 24/7.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The K7 is a 4-wheeled security robot. It's designed to patrol large areas of security using sonar and GPS with high-tech cameras.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 28th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds this morning, thunderstorms this afternoon. Some could come with gusty wind and hail. The high 80. Tonight and overnight, we could see some heavy rain, low 70. And then Wednesday, showers in the morning, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 79. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 68 and cloudy in Orangetown up in Rockland. It's 66 and cloudy in Mahwah over in New Jersey. And it's 70 and partly cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:41. Just getting this story in from Japan. A powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit southwest Japan this afternoon their time, this morning our time, igniting fires apparently near its epicenter. It's cut power. This is what's being told from a Japan broadcaster for tens of thousands. And they say there are injuries, but it's an unknown number of people. 6.8 is a pretty serious earthquake. Of course, as more info comes in on that quake, we'll pass that on to you. 5:41, let's bring it back home, go out to Queens, where the family of a 93-year-old woman who died back in July pressing a Jamaica Queens funeral home for answers and accountability after they alleged that their loved one was cremated against their final wishes. The family of UV Rodney, who was a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother as well, she died back on July 8th, and the plan was, and it said this on her death certificate, that they were going to bury her in her home country of Guyana next to her own grandmother. But they say when they went to go find out more information about her body, they were told that she had been cremated. Well, here's some family members speaking out yesterday.
We have lost our mom twice. We have lost her in death. We have lost her body. We have no closure to our mother.
Now, the family holding this press conference outside the J. Foster Phillips Funeral Home in Jamaica, Queens. No comment from them, but they had a lot of people with them. Civil rights leader Kevin McCall, the Reverend Kevin McCall.
We are calling for this funeral home to be shut down immediately. The state needs to investigate.
They also had lawyers with them, and they say they're beginning to do an investigation into what happened on behalf of the family and could consider a lawsuit.
A tragedy that will now haunt them for the rest of their lives because they weren't able to honor their mother's wish of bringing her home to Guyana.
UV Agnes Rodney wanted to be laid to rest next to her family is on the death certificate.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make a mistake like that? You think you double and triple check every time you do that. But at the funeral home, apparently a man who answered the door yesterday would not provide comment. Rodney's family plans to hold what they call a symbolic funeral on Friday in Queens, now that they don't have a body to send back to Guyana.
For all that she has done on earth, that's how you treat her?
Yeah, terrible story. 5:43. NYPD cops tell us they continue to search for these two women who were wanted in a road rage killing of a father early Sunday morning on the Belt Parkway. We told you about this story yesterday, but we know more. The victim's family trying to come to grips with the fact that their loved one's violent end came at the hands of a baseball bat. It was a routine drive home from work for 47-year-old Chrisani Dockery. That's when he got in some sort of fender bender with these two women, and they came out with a baseball bat and hit him over the head, and they killed him. Well, here's a family member. This is a cousin speaking out yesterday.
There's shock, denial, anger. The kids are devastated. They're beside himself. His mom is overwhelmed with grief.
Yeah, well, of course. Just after 1 a.m. Sunday on the Belt Parkway near Farmers Boulevard, that's where this attack took place. Police say it started with the fender bender. They don't really know what happened after that, but there was some sort of dispute, and that's when the women apparently took out this bat and hit Dockery over and over again over the head.
A simple car accident should never escalate to somebody losing their life. He wasn't a troublemaker. It's incredibly cruel for someone to lose their life in this way.
Yeah, police sources say the two women fled in a Honda Civic. They have not released video or photos of the two wanted women. Family members, meanwhile, begging for them to come forward, these women to turn themselves in.
It's unfair. It's unfair that you entered a situation and you got to walk away. He didn't. Turn yourself in. If you know something, please say something.
Yeah, so far, no sign of those women. In a moment, we'll give you the latest on the battle between the 9/11 families and Mayor Mamdani. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noam Laden. Sports sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Out in Queens, Francisco Lindor homer twice, tripled off the top of the wall, driving in 6 runs as the Mets pulled away for a 14-3 victory over the Braves to grab the opener of a 3-game series against Atlanta. Rookie starter Zach Thornton allowed 3 runs and 6 hits in 6 1/3 innings. The left-hander struck out 5 and walked 1 in his 5th big league outing. Up next for the Mets, righty Christian Scott opposes Atlanta southpaw Chris Sale in tonight's middle game of this 3-game series at home. First pitch from Citi Field scheduled for 7:10 p.m. In Chicago, Ali Sanchez hit a 3-run shot for his first career homer, and the Yankees beat the White Sox 9-5 in the opener of a 4-game series. Ben Rice hit a tie-breaking single in the 7th, and New York put away the game with 4 more runs in the 8th. Yanks won for the 6th time in 8 games and pulled within 2.5 games of idle Tampa Bay for the AL East lead. Up next for him, Garrett Cole will get the start against Chicago lefty Anthony Kay in tonight's Game 2 of 4 against the White Sox. First pitch from Chicago is scheduled for 7:40. And training camp in the NFL get underway today for your New York Giants and Jets. Veterans officially reporting to camp, where rookies have been chopping it up for the last few days. That is
weeks away from like the first preseason game of the season, right?
Yep, exactly.
Like mid-August, right? That's usually when it is. Right?
Yeah. I mean, week 1 is the week of September 11th.
Wow.
So yeah.
All right.
You got to get those three preseason games in, and that's 3 weeks before week 1.
I can't wait.
Neither can I. Noam Laden. That's your sports sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. Let's head over to Central Park, where family, community members gathering yesterday to remember the life of that teenager from India who was killed in a horse carriage accident in Central Park back in June. Romanch Mahajan's aunt was one of the speakers at a vigil yesterday, pushing the city council to act on a bill that would ban horse carriage rides across the city.
Romanch, I call him Gugu. He's our angel who is protecting us, who's not just the voice for us, but for the animals now. Since childhood, he has always loved animals. Always.
City Council Speaker Julie Menon says she's among the supporters of the bill, but has yet to set a date for an official vote. The attorney for Raul Mancha's family said they will seek justice through the courts.
We will be filing a lawsuit against the city of New York for negligent supervision, as well as for failing to maintain. They're the proprietor of this park and this roadway, and these incidents are foreseeable. Horses have bolted in the past. People have gotten hurt in the past.
Lots of animal rights activists showing up at this vigil as well yesterday, calling on the city council to take action to ban horse carriages in the city.
The park is too crowded to have 1,500-pound animals that can spook and bolt at any moment. Every day, we are gambling with another serious injury or fatality. So we are calling on the city council to expedite. Let's get a vote on the bill. Let's get this going.
And one of those city council members who's really been pushing this bill, Christopher Marte.
There's a 2-year phase-in process. We will love to happen as quickly as possible and not wait for 2 years to go by to end this horse carriages here.
Yeah, it was hard to watch the family members yesterday. I mean, it's just a tragedy. An 18-year-old killed in that carriage accident back in June. 5:51, the 5 New York City-run grocery stores in the works will offer apparently big discounts for a large number of essentials. Mayor Mamdani laying this out yesterday, says all produce, meat, seafood, and 20 additional categories of pantry staples such as dairy and refrigerated goods will have prices that would be 30% lower than typical retail prices at other stores.
Since 2019, food prices have soared at grocery stores around the country by roughly 30%. Talk to shoppers around the city, and you'll often hear the same frustration. Wages have not kept up.
Now, the 30% discount is projected to save New Yorkers about $1,000 a year on average. The first grocery store will open by the end of next year in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. The deputy mayor, Julie Sue, says the big discount at city-run groceries is aimed at making groceries more affordable for everyday New Yorkers.
When you can't afford something as basic as groceries, it feels like the city is pushing you out. It means making impossible choices: eggs or bananas, milk or meat.
Now, of course, some of these small surrounding supermarkets, they're really worried about this, is how it's going to impact them, will put them out of business. The mayor didn't have a whole lot to say about that.
The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Not for our seniors living on fixed incomes.
So we won't get to see this again until the first one up in Hunts Point till later 2027. 5:52. The mayor during this press conference where he was talking about the grocery stores was asked about the families of 9/11 victims who have amassed nearly 17,000 signatures on a petition that is calling for Mayor Mamdani to stay away from the 25th anniversary ceremonies commemorating that devastating tragedy. But the mayor casually brushed off their grievances during the press conference yesterday. So he was questioned about attending these events. He said he was going to proudly honor the families of the survivors, but these 9/11 families, they say they don't want him anywhere near because of some of the statements he's made, some of the people he's hung out with, either before he was mayor or since he's become mayor. Well, here was the mayor talking about this yesterday.
I will proudly honor the families, the survivors, the first responders forever impacted by that horrific terror attack by standing alongside them at this year's 9/11 commemoration.
Now, organizers of this petition accuse Mamdani of supporting groups, individuals who've been critical of America, being sympathetic towards radical views.
We will never forget the solemn day felt by all of us who call this city home, and frankly, by all of us who call this country home.
Now, the family member who lost his wife in the 9/11 attacks and who was one of the people who started this petition, he's going to be on with Sid at 8:30 this morning. I'm sure he'll have a lot more to say about that. WABC News Time, 5:54. A Middle Island, Long Island woman says she's been left dealing with a lingering foul odor in her neighborhood that she believes could be a health hazard. Now, this was after her next-door neighbor passed away inside his townhouse, and she says she's been unable to get anyone to address the situation. Mariana Croce, she lives on Crystal Rock Court. This is in Suffolk County. She said she first, smelled it early on, like a week ago, and then she asked the police to come and do a welfare check, and it ended up her neighbor had passed away. Well, so she thought the smell would go away, but it hasn't since then. and she doesn't know what to do.
The smell was really terrible. Like, we knew right away something was wrong. I have absolute empathy for the family. However, now that it's been about a week, and it was a week prior that he passed away, I know that there's all sorts of, like, biomedical waste that needs to be cleaned up.
So DeCroce says she spent the past week trying to determine who's responsible for cleaning that unit next door, but she hasn't found any help. She says her homeowner's insurance won't cover the cleanup because the affected property is not her own. So she's asked for assistance from anybody to come in and fix this, because she says it's overwhelming. It's a little less than it once was, but she says it's still overwhelming.
No one's really able to help me with finding out who should be responsible for cleaning the unit. And I just want someone to do something about it.
Yeah, I don't blame her. In the meantime, she says she's keeping her windows open in an effort to reduce the odor in her home. And we'll end with this story, if I can find what he did with it. Oh, LeBron James, he just signed this major deal, $8 million, 2 years with the 76ers. So you think he would move to Philly, but he's not going to.
James, soon to enter his 24th season, will continue to wear number 23 with the 76ers, but Brian Windhorst of ESPN says James will not be living in Philadelphia full-time. Rather, he plans to live in New York City and commute to work each day via helicopter. It's been done before. LeBron's former head coach, J.J. Redick, commuted from Brooklyn to Philly when he played for the 76ers. Legend Wilt Chamberlain traveled back and forth while playing in Philly. He owned a nightclub in Harlem. James Flippin for the Worldwide News Network.
I mean, what a slap in the face to the city of brotherly love. You get picked by the Sixers to come to Philadelphia to play there, and you've refused to even move there. You moved to New York City. It's just, wow. Okay. 5:57, traffic, transit on the 7th. Here's Joe Nolan.
Philly fans are going to love that.
Yeah. They're going to boo him, I think.
Oh, they're going to love that.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you not move to Philadelphia? I mean, it's, there's got to be a nice place in Philly to live. No?
Oh, there's a lot of nice places
All right,
in Philadelphia.
So
yeah.
Apparently not for LeBron.
I guess
nice
not.
enough.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?